is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're gonna type Nassim Taleb. Fucking David's been blowing me up all month to get this typing done. I'm like, bro, you gotta chill, man. We're chilling this month, man. But we can go ahead and knock it out for you guys. You guys know we use Lindeman's interaction styles and Tiffany combined with cognitive functions. We have a breakdown of all of these metrics online. Just go to the playlist, how to find anyone's personality type. And we do have the cognitive functions broken down one by one. And there is a master video with all of them in one. Just go look for the playlist cognitive functions. There's a lot of shit in there as well. But I do think those are by far the best that you're gonna get online when it comes to that. Um, yeah. If you guys want somebody for us to type for you, you got to join our Discord and boost the server, or not. You can be amongst the commoners and post comments, and then eventually we'll get to those comments. Maybe you can spur one of our boosters to see your comment, and maybe they'll put it in there. But if you want more hands-on experience with us, you want to join our Discord as well, and we have a section that's called a Demigod Dojo, where we have everything from the easiest material to the more challenging material, and you can be tested on your knowledge by our practitioners, and then you can also ask, like, hey man, what are you guys seeing here? Why are you seeing that? You know, kind of speed up your growth and knowledge of type. Zara, anything you want to say about Nassim Taleb? I know he's
Um, I
intellect.
don't really know too much about the guy. I'm pretty fresh to him.
Yeah,
I
I think he's
don't
some
have
type of
any.
intellectual. I think he's some type of intellectual or something. Uh,
Yeah, that's what
nothing.
I was kind of gathering from the interview you sent last night, but I barely watched it because I just crashed.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, who is this guy? Like,
Yeah, I don't
he
know.
wrote the Black Swan or some shit. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I heard that was a really good book. I haven't read it, but I've heard it was a good book. So if you wrote that book, it's apparently really good. So
yeah.
I seen like a clip of him talking about George Soros, and how George Soros really wanted to be a philosopher, but instead he got trapped into the markets or whatnot. But he's
Mm.
always wanted it to be a philosopher or something like that. So I don't know. We're gonna see what the guy is. Should be fun. I got thoughts what I think he is, but who fucking knows, man. Personality dummy base has this guy as an INTJ. Okay.
Mm.
Um, not with a lot of votes. Okay, so maybe that's what's got them somewhat decent here. So INTJs are direct. They are responding, they're process oriented or journey focused, pragmatic, systematic, abstract, TEFI and SENI. Zara, you want to go ahead and give a quick rundown? Quick rundown.
Okay, sure. So we'll start with like affiliative and pragmatic. Affiliative cares about the group, and the pragmatic types are more focused on them like themselves or what works.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, affiliative is also about rule following, things like that, preserving the harmony.
The
So
collective.
structure versus motive. The structure is more about systems and implementing structures, whereas motive types are more individualistic or particularism, um, as just noted recently. It's more about what works for individuals. It's more catered to different people.
Case by
They
case.
cater or caters to different people.
By
Um,
case.
concrete versus abstract, guys. Concrete thinks about the here, the now, past, and the present. It's about the five senses. Um, whereas abstract is about conceptualizations, thinking patterns. Uh, if I said connections, I probably did. Um, and they're future focused, and yeah, so that's huge. But then we have direct versus informing. Direct is concise and to the point. Can be seen as terse to some, whereas informing is trying to create buy-in through language, being overly wordy, not concise, not to the point, and beats around the bush at worst. Initiating versus responding. It's kind of a hard metric, especially in an interview. But initiating is more wired towards the front of the brain, as Dario Nardi has shown through his brain scans. Whereas responding, it takes longer, it travels towards the back, and then there's usually introverts have more depth with topics. Um, then we have process versus outcome. Process is more focused on the journey than just the destination itself. It focuses on refining the steps towards a goal, and is more focused on the pursuit. Whereas outcome is more about the destination. They think about just the goal itself. They don't necessarily focus as much on the process or the journey. It's not what inspires them. Um, I guess process has a lot more dopamine along the way. That's my theory. It gets dopaminergic surges through the steps of along the way. So I guess now we're gonna move on to the functions, guys. So TE is organizing, is more about data, empiricism, whereas FI is about internal values, what aligns with myself. They think about like, is this harmonious with me? Well, and you get the picture. It's about their values. Very subjective. Um, TI is more about syllogistic reasoning, deductions, and these are carried out into principles into the world. FE, on the other hand, uh, is about maintaining the global harmony. It's about it's about honoring and upholding other people's values. Um, the group. Now we have SC. SC is about um, the objective experience. It's about what was around them. It's about the present. It's about It's about finding opportunities in the moment. Um, NI on the other hand is more about foreseeing, anticipating, um, synthesizing, and being able to see forecast trends into the future. It's future focused. Um, SI on the other hand is very past focused, and also about bodily stasis. It notices whether they're hot or cold or uncomfortable, and and that's particularly something amongst like SI DOMs. Like the one interview you guys can check out on Mongolian Mindset. And NE on the other hand is about making connections, inferences, and seeing patterns and how they connect as a whole. Um, it's it's future focused as well, but NE is more about seeing connections and inferring from those connections, and that create some big leaps, and they're very inventive. Um, I think this has been said numerous times. NE DOMs are probably some of the most talented people. Uh, but yeah, that's the basic rundown.
All righty, man. All righty. Good job, man. Sorry, you froze.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, your video's froze.
Mm.
It's okay, we can still hear you.
Nassim
Can
Nicholas Taleb,
you hear?
he
Can you hear?
Yeah.
All right.
has influenced me perhaps more than any other thinker. I discovered his work when I was quite young, at the end of 2016. I read his books out of order. I finished with Fooled by Randomness, and I started with The Black Swan.
That's the correct order.
The Black Swan was the book that got me hooked. For me, that book was not so much about black swans as about what Nassim calls the platonic fold. And this year I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person. He has a certain magnanimity. He's been very kind to me. So it's an honor to have him on the podcast. Welcome, Nassim.
Thank you for inviting me.
So Naturally, I have many questions, and I guess the theme of my questions is probably best summed up by the title of your technical book, The Statistical Consequences of Fat Tails. But I'd like to start a little bit abstract and then get more and more real. So first question, it only takes one black swan to know that you're in extremistan. But if you're in a particular domain which has yet to experience a black swan, how do you know whether or not you're in extremistan?
So let's not use the word black swan and use extreme deviation.
All right.
Black swan is something that carries large consequences. It tends to happen more easily in an environment that produces tail large deviation. So what I call extremistan.
Mm-hmm.
So let's ignore the terminology black swan here because it may be confusing. And let's say that the following asymmetry, discuss the following asymmetry. If I am using a thin-tailed probability distribution, let me say, I can be always surprised by an outlier with respect to my distribution, a large deviation, you see, that would destroy my assumption.
So are you
Systematic.
Yeah.
I'm using that distribution.
Yeah, I was just making sure you're systematic.
If, on the other hand, I'm using a large deviation model, or a model that the extremistan model, the reverse cannot be true. Nothing can surprise you. A quiet period.
So we're talking about models, we're talking about systems, we're talking about
So it seems TE.
Yeah, it seems to TE too.
Is entirely within statistical properties. So is a large deviation, which is why you have to assume that you're in the second class of models unless you have real reasons. See, to a real robust representation of the world to rule it out.
Right.
Like, for example, we know that with height, that you're from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I mean, in Australia, you may run into someone who's 2 meters, 40 centimeters tall. But even in Australia, they don't have people 5 kilometers tall or 500 kilometers tall.
Yeah.
Why? They are biological limitation. The person needs to have a mother. See, if you use a maximum entropy representation, the Gaussian is the maximum entropy distribution with known mean and variance. So you're bounding the variance. You see? If you bound the variance, it's the equivalent of bounding the energy. So you see what I'm leading at. You can't have unlimited energy. So you know that a lot of mechanisms have these physical limitations.
Right.
You see? So you can rule out based on knowledge of the process, biological understanding, physical understanding. But if you don't know anything about the process, or the process is in multiplicative phenomena, such as contagions, pandemics, or simply processes that don't have a limit to their movement. Like, for example, a price.
All right, subtypes definitely n squared.
Yeah.
Definitely n squared.
And I can sell, buy from one another this at $1 billion. Okay, there's no limitations. There's no physical limitation to a price. Therefore, you could be an extremistan and you cannot rule out a thick-tailed distribution.
Right. So what you mentioned height as an example of a Gaussian process.
Yeah, or actually pseudo-Gaussian, so more like normal, but with low variance. Yes.
Sure.
Because it's bounded on the left.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some heuristics you use to judge whether you have a compelling reason to believe that something has a Gaussian process?
It's not you see it when you know it when you see it.
Okay.
If we're talking about weight, height, such phenomena, then you can rule out extremely large deviation.
Yeah.
Not completely, but those deviations that occur are still going to be acceptable. In other words, you may have a 5 meter tall human with some kind of deregulation, hormonal deregulation, or something like that, but you're not going to get a 500-kilometer tall human.
Yeah.
In finance, you can't rule out the equivalent of 500-kilometer tall or 5 billion kilometer tall person.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, you need to couple the absence of extreme events with some kind of very compelling explanation as to why the data is being...
Explanation that rules out these deviations based on either energy or...
Yep.
All right, guys. So we're talking a lot of
PE and process.
PE. We're talking a lot of fucking statistical information. This is standard deviations. This is all TE measurable shit here. So we're gonna hit TEFI a lot. We're gonna go to the chart here and just go ahead and knock off some of these so we can just get this guy out of here. But yeah, this guy is definitely TE, right? Standard deviations and shit like that. Okay. We're going all into the measurable data. Okay. That's all extroverted thinking. And we also got systematic. That's 100%. With this guy. So with TEFI and systematic, that eliminates a lot of types here. All of these are gone. These are gone. Right. ESTP is gone and ISTP is gone. So we're looking at
INFJ.
oh, INFJ too, and ENFJ. I thought it not.
Yeah.
So we're looking at either ESTJ, ENTJ, ISTJ, and INTJ. This guy seems process focused. So I think we got an INTJ here, but let's make sure.
more knowledge of the physical process.
Yep.
The generator is physical, after all.
So it's interesting that not only do power laws appear everywhere in the natural and social world, but perhaps certain tail exponents appear to be intrinsic. So last week I was chatting with your friend and collaborator, Raphael Douadi, and he mentioned that he has this view that the tail exponent for financial markets seems to be 3. And
he's wrong, but that's okay. Raphael. All right. There was a theory of why it was. It's called the semi-cubic theory.
Okay.
That he is following, and someone figured out that the tail exponent for company size, the size of companies was 1.5.
Mm.
So therefore, their orders are going to impact the market. Hence, by using a square root model of impact, in other words, where the quantity impacts the price following some kind of square root effect. Okay, and then you end up with markets having what they call the cubic, going from half cubic to cubic signal. It is a nice theory, but I think the tail exponent in financial markets is lower than that from experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like these cute theories because the distribution of concentration is not 1.5 half cubic. With technology, it's much, much higher.
But you also see it in other domains, like a lot of people who've...
I don't like these cute theories. Blah, 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 TI critic.
Commented on the fact that city size seems to have...
I would not get married to these exponents.
Okay. Is that because there's always going to be... There's always the possibility of an even more extreme event to kind of screw up the exponent?
Or less extreme event. I mean, coming up with an observation that's very noisy and generalizing to a theory of cubic or half cubic, and there used to be a square law and a lot of things. I mean, it's a very noisy representation.
Right. Okay, so I have a couple of questions about finance. How long before 1987 did you realize that volatility shouldn't be flat across strike prices for options? And how did you realize?
I mean, I saw deviations, all right? And I realized, and I had, an unintentional reward from having a tail exposure. So I realized that I said, okay, you don't have to be a genius to figure out if the payoff can be so large
Right.
as to swamp the frequency. So I think that I was pretty convinced by September 1985, after the Plaza Accord, when we had a 10 sigma move. At the time, we didn't have access to data like today, but but we saw prices, and I noticed that effectively you had a higher frequency of these very, very large deviations across stocks. I mean, you had mergers, you had stuff like that. So it was obvious, and then therefore the black trolls, or the equivalent of black trolls, they call it black trolls, but black trolls didn't really invent that formula. They just justified it. The formula is from Bachelier and others, and a collection of others who rediscovered it or repackaged it differently. That you need to have a higher price for tail options. So I got in the business of collecting tail options. But one has to be pretty blind not to see that you have winner-take-all effects in finance, which is not compatible with a Gaussian representation.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how blind so many people have remained to that observation. So your books have become very famous. Universa has done very well. Mark Spitznagel has also written books which have sold well. Why hasn't the tail hedging strategy now been fully priced in by markets?
Because of MBA lecturing, modern portfolio theory, because people get blinded by theories, and also because if you're trading your own money, you're going to be pretty rational about it. If you're dealing with the institutional framework, you need to make money frequently. And the trap of needing to make money frequently will lead you to eventually sell volatility. So there's no incentive to buy volatility for someone who's employed, for a finite period of time in a firm. No incentive.
Right. Yeah. Are there any markets that do price in convexity?
They all do in a way, but it's they don't know how to price it.
Right. Interesting.
How to price it.
So I have a question about venture capital, but it perhaps has broader.
All right, bro. I'm not about to even pull this shit out, bro. I'm just this guy. This fucking guy, bro. This fucking guy. I'm going INTJ, bro. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah,
pretty direct.
he's pretty process oriented. I mean, well,
Yeah.
all four of these are direct, but he's given the whole workup behind everything, so I'm gonna have to hit him for process. Um, so yeah, INTJ David, man. Jesus Christ. Hope his books are better than him talking. He's one of those INTJs that think they're so fucking smart that like you can't even be around them, man. You can't even fucking be around them because they think they're so fucking smart, bro. Um, he's like the INTJ who can't wait to answer a question in the classroom. Teacher, call on me, please, please, please. I have the answer. So I'm the smartest person in the class. Please click on me. Please pick on me. Um, but yeah, there we go. So INTJ David, you're killing me, bro. Um, hope you don't submit somebody next month. Um, let's see. Zara 5W6. I'm thinking 5W6
Yeah.
SO. INTJ, boohoo. 5W6 SO, because he is an SO. Go away. He's in squared. So we enjoying that. Smart motherfucker. And what we thinking here? Above average, prodigy, what we thinking? Above average.
Uh, that or I would say Prod. I could see Prodigy. It's pretty
Yeah, but nah, I'm not gonna give it to him because his people skills are ass, man. I can just read it a mile away. He's got to work on people skills. I don't think you really get a lot of points for being an INTJ and not having people skills. Like that's gonna be your one of your
Eh,
hardest things to get. And if you have none, yeah, you just
mm,
to NINTE. And let's be honest. I mean, you getting up the benefits for doing that. So yeah, this guy.
yeah.
So he needs to work on his other functions. He's maxing TE and NI out. Congratulations. Um, but yeah,
Mm,
a fun interview, man. I wouldn't say fun. It's kind of fucking Jesus Christ. Probably one of the worst ones I've watched. But it is what it is. Another INTJ on the book. Sorry, I can't see you, but we're gonna get
yeah.
off.